Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and check out now. This is the latest Bartop arcade machine. I just finished this Bartop arcade machine about 3 days ago at my workshop, and this is the first time I'm actually presenting it to you. And the machine's actually been undergoing testing for about the last 2 days. I've been testing out the various things to make sure everything's working fine and the machine is functioning perfectly. So let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about the Bartop arcade machine here, and then we'll go ahead and I'll actually give you a walk around tour here so you can actually see what it looks like. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. All right, so this machine is called the Heritage Bar Top Arcade Machine. This machine is actually dedicated to my mom. Now, what I'll do is I'll give you a walk around tour here, and I'll actually show you some of the inner workings and things of this machine as well. Now, let's go ahead and start out by showing you the screen and everything else too. Now, this bar top machine is constructed exactly the way the other bar top machines are constructed. Let me show you the other bar top arcade machines too, so you can see how this is related to the other ones too. Okay. Now, this Bartop arcade machine here that I built, this is actually called the Pandora's Box 5S Bartop arcade machine. There is a category on my channel dedicated to the 5S Bartop arcade machine. All right, now the one we have next to it, this is the Legacy Bartop arcade machine. This is a Bartop arcade machine that was actually dedicated to my dad. There's also a category on my channel as well. If you want to check that out, just go Legacy Bartop Arcade Machine. You can check out videos of that as well. Now, the third one that I actually made, this actually is called the Traveler Bartop Arcade Machine. This is the one that I made that actually is able to travel with me when I go places, as you can see here. This is the Traveler. Now, you're going to notice there's a lot of similarities. All my Bartop arcade machines have handles in the front and back so they can be lifted because my Bartop arcade machines are very heavy. They weigh about 50, 60 pounds a piece, these Bartop arcade machines, because of the construction and everything that goes into them. Goes into building these. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the Heritage and see what it has. All right, now the Heritage Bar Top arcade machine has the same thing that it has 1/4 inch glass inside of it to make it extremely durable, so it can take banging and everything as well. Now, what I did something different with this one. The Heritage Bar Top arcade machine is actually running a Game Elf. I'm really happy. It's running a Game Elf 412-in-1 game board, and I'm very happy with how this has turned out. Really like the menu system. The other cabinets, just to put in comparison for you, just to show you too as well, so we can have a comparison. This is running the Raspberry Pi 5S in here. That's actually what this is running. Actually, it's the Pandora's Box 5S is actually running this machine here. These are actually running retro. This is actually running retro Pi on these two here. This actually is powered by Raspberry Pi 3, as well as this one is powered by Raspberry Pi 3, and they're both running retro Pi on these two. And then this one's running the Pandora's Box 5S. Now, the neat thing about this one is this actually is running a brand new game board that I've tried called Game Elf that I've been very happy with, and I'll show you some gameplay too and things and how the features and stuff work on this as well. I'll show you some gameplay and things as well too. It has a really cool menu system on here. Like when you use the joystick, you can navigate through the game list. Really cool stuff. And I like the fact that it has a little screenshot as you go through the different games. That's one of the things I really like about the Game Elf. The interface is absolutely beautiful on this machine as well. How it actually works is pretty amazing. Now, you gotta notice too. You gotta notice the one difference is my control panel is a little bit different. Now you gotta notice something different on this. You're going to notice that this control panel, I'm not on this machine. This one's not using LEDs. This machine is a machine that's built to last. What I've discovered with the LEDs, I do like the look of the LEDs, but I want to have a cabinet that also reflected more of my classic arcade machines than this one does. All my arcade machines feature these same buttons. What these are is these are actually I believe, if I remember correctly, these are actually the hat micro switches that this actually has in here. But then what it does is it has regular arcade buttons I got from arcadeshops.com. I got these control buttons. But what I did is I actually have extra arcade gaming switches inside these as well. And the joystick that I have is a Seimitsu LS32 joystick, just like I use on all my arcade machines. I mean, LS32 I've been using for years now. The one thing I do have on this is I do have a SuzoHap. This actually is an official SuzoHap 3-inch trackball I'm using here actually so I can run the arcade games and things that use the trackball and stuff. I found that this is an excellent addition to this machine as well. And I wanted to be able to play the trackball games as well. So what I had to do is I actually had to offset the joystick a little bit in here in order to be able to play trackball games as well. It has all the stainless steel bolts and things that I use with all my standard bar top arcade machine cabinets, the stainless steel bolts. It has a handle and everything for lifting from the front. Okay, so let's go and check out the back. Now, one thing you're going to notice it's a little bit different about this machine. It's constructed a little bit differently in the back. Everything from here to here is basically like all my other arcade machines, but there is one difference. You're going to notice in the back here that I am now running pinball arcade speakers actually inside this cabinet. They're actually mounted inside the cabinet. You'll be able to see it from the construction here, how I actually built these. So unlike the other cabinets that are running PC speakers, this is actually running pinball arcade speakers actually in the back here that are actually installed in the back, and they really, really make a really crisp sound. It sounds fantastic. This is by far the best sounding Bartop arcade machine I've made yet. Now you're going to notice on the inside here, everything on the inside is pretty much the way it is on the other one, but you're going to notice that I have the speakers on the left and right. Now one thing that's a little different on this one, I'm actually running an amplifier. For the first time I'm running a Lapie amplifier that actually amplifies the signal and everything out. And I'm going to show you the other side of this amplifier too to show you how the controls and everything work as well. I have my standard power strip down here as usual. On the inside, I'm actually going to show you in the video, I'm going to show you what the actual game elf and everything looks like inside. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the other side. And then I'll actually show you how the control panel and everything lifts out as well. Okay, now on the back side here, you'll actually get a chance to see the actual controls. Now I'm going to turn the camera here so you can see this a little bit better. But on the actual controls on this Lapie here, I actually have a volume control here. I can control the volume here. I can also control the bass and the treble, and the speakers and everything connect into the back of the Lapie amp. This amp was absolutely wonderful amp for using this. The thing that's nice about having this amplifier is because I wanted to be able to adjust the volume and things easier without having to go to the main game menu. This allows me to do that, to adjust it easily. I can go up or down. The previous cabinets I had actually had PC speakers that actually had a volume control on the speakers, but because I'm using pinball machine speakers, this actually had an amp that actually powers it. Now, I've been told you can power the game elf, that the game elf can power the speakers without the amplifier, but I found by having the amplifier on here, not only does it look really well, but it also works really well too, and allows me to adjust the sound very easily up or down. And you're going to find these pinball speakers also. Here's a good example of what they look like. There's one on the left and there's one on the right. These are the actual speakers that I'm using. And I have cutouts that actually let the speaker go through. And it really, really works well compared to the other cabinets that I have. This is different on this one from the other ones that I made. And I'm going to continue all my future Bartop arcade machines are now going to use these speakers. I'm very happy about the fact that it allows me a little extra room inside for working and things. Okay? So what I'll do now is let me go ahead and I'm actually going to show you how the control panel and everything comes out and show you the actual inner workings of the machine as well. All right, let me bring the camera a little closer here so you can see how this actually works. Now, as you remember, all my Bartop arcade machines feature, and also my arcade machines feature removable control panels. Now, these control panels are actually made by me in-house. This is my own custom design for these control panels that I actually use on my Bartop arcade machines. And the way they work is, you can actually lift the control panel up like this. You can actually lift it out, and then you can actually put it off to the side. And you're going to see that there's a wire harness and everything here that actually connects into the arcade board on the inside. All right, and I'll show you the underside of this as well, so you can see what this looks like underneath as well. All right, let me set that there. All right, now I'm going to show you what the inside of this machine looks like. Now you're going to see on the inside, this is where I actually have a power supply in the back. I have a standard power supply in the back. Let me show you that power supply again too, so you can see that from the back too, so you can see what I'm using. Okay, in the back here, it's a little hard to see, but I have a standard power supply in the back here that you can get off the arcade side. It's a standard power supply. Okay, and what that power supply does is, this is the actual game elf board actually inside. This is the actual game elf board right here, and then it uses a standard JAMA connector that's actually in here. All right, and these are all the cables and everything that run out here, and then these actually go out to the control panel here, and then inside the control panel, okay. This is what I was telling you about the buttons. I believe the buttons that I have, these are the standard arcade buttons that I actually use. I have different arcade buttons I use, but I did get these buttons from arcade shops, and these do work really well. Now, the triggers that I use, the actual switches themselves, these are actually X-Arcade switches that I actually use in here, the white and black ones from X Gaming I actually use inside here. Now this is the LS232 joystick I was telling you about. You're going to notice that it's just like the other cabinets. It's bolted through with stainless steel bolts. And then this is the mounting for the Suzo Hat for the Suzo Hat 3-inch trackwell that I actually used for this unit. And you can see it has the same construction the other ones have. Then you can also see that the thing that's nice about these is it leaves me plenty of room in here, and it has a standard handle that goes through here for lifting. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm actually going to go ahead and show you some actual gameplay here so I can show you how this actually works. All right, let me put this back on here. All right, we're going to go and put the control panel back on. And you're going to see the control panels and everything too. The thing that's nice is with these wires and everything, this allows me to take the panel completely out so I can service it. You know, if a button or something comes loose, I want to be able to reach it so I can tighten it up if something comes loose. That's one of the things that's unique about my cabinets. All right, so I'm going to put this back in place. Okay. All right. Now what I'll do now is I'll actually go ahead now and I'll show you some gameplay. I'm going to go ahead and turn the light out here so you can see the gameplay a little bit better. All right. Turn this so you can see it. Okay. Now, like I said, this is going to have its own category, so I am going to be bringing you some more videos and things of gameplay and things as well over the next few months too. Remember, this is going to have its own category, and remember, it's going to be under Heritage Bartop Arcade Machine, and this is going to be the one that's dedicated to my mom. All right, so let me go ahead and get this so you can see the screen. Okay. Now I'm actually going to show you how the game menu works. So the way the game menu works on this game is this is one of the really cool things I like about the Game Elf. You actually are able to navigate different screens here. Using your joystick, you can go through different screens. This right here will actually tell you how to go to different games and things too. Now things like the coin in and the timer and things like that, you can adjust all those from the settings and everything that you have on this game as well. This can be totally customized to meet to however you want to have it actually working. That's one of the things that's really cool. So what I'll do is let me go ahead and show you a game of Miss Pac-Man. Let me go and show you a game of Miss Pac-Man. Okay, we'll do a Miss Pac-Man speed up so I can actually show you how the game actually works. Okay, now when you want to start a game, you just push the one player button. And what it's going to do is it's going to load it into it's going to actually load it in, and you're going to see the loading times don't take very long on this. It's very, very efficient how it loads them in. And what I'll do is I'll just give you a couple little clips of a couple games so you can see how it works. Okay? Now you're going to notice that the sound on here too is really cool. The sound actually does come out very well out of both speakers. When I actually plugged the Game Elf into the headphone jack on the actual Game Elf, I ran that in the amplifier, and it works very, very well. And it provides a really, really clean, crisp sound. That's one thing I love. All right? And you're going to see the gameplay and everything too is also pretty fast here too. Really, really nice board here. Now the great thing about this is some of the actual boards, like when you're playing a game, like if you have the 61, for example, you have to die before you can exit. Not with the Game Elf. With the Game Elf, I can exit anytime I want. So I'm gonna show you how I do that. So when I want to exit a game, all I do is I hold the one player button down. And when I hold the one player button down, after about 3 seconds, there's going to be a screen that actually comes up and allows me to exit the game. And then I just hit the one player button and it goes right back to the main game menu. And that's one thing I love about the Game Elf, is the fact it's so easy to navigate. Even my brother and his girlfriend can actually play this, which is nice. You don't have to have any programming or anything to play this, because this is actually all programmed into the Game Elf board when you buy it. Now, the one thing I was going to suggest about getting a Game Elf board, I actually bought my Game Elf board directly from the manufacturer. I paid about $30 less. I think they got this, I think it was made in Japan or China. It was actually shipped. Now the only thing is, because I bought from the manufacturer, it took me about 3 weeks to get my game board. It took a little bit longer, but the great thing about it was, I also saved $30 on the game board as well. And you're going to see there's other versions of this as well, of this Game Elf as well. All right, so let's go and begin another game. Let's go and try some Donkey Kong. Now, you're going to notice that when Donkey Kong plays, you're going to notice too that the sound and everything is very crisp on Donkey Kong as well. And then I insert a credit. Now, the other thing too is you can also have your game mail set to free play. I like to have a credit button on my machine, but you can have your game mail set to free play as well if you'd like to. All right, so we'll do a little bit of gameplay here on Donkey Kong, okay? And I find that most of the games and everything are pretty faithful to the originals as far as the sounds and everything go. I've been pretty pleased with the games so far that I've played. And I've played about 20 different games. And like I said, I'm going to have videos coming up in the future too, where I'm going to actually show you other games and everything playing here on the Heritage Bartop arcade machine as well. All right, so there's Donkey Kong. So let me go ahead and exit out of this. And that's one thing, I do love the menu system. Okay. Now, one thing I will show you, somebody did ask me how the trackball games and everything work. So let me show you. I'm going to bring up a trackball game and show you. All right, let's do a game. Let's play a game of I'll show you what Millipede looks like. Okay. Now you're going to find. Now, what I was going to mention is that I have found on this Bartop arcade machine that when I use the Suzo Hat 3-inch trackball, the 3-inch trackball seems to work pretty well with the game out. Now it's not quite perfect as it would be if you had it like in a main machine, like when you would build by hand. But it's still pretty good. It's good enough. I can definitely get by without having any problems. So let me go and just show you how the movement and everything is. Now I'm using the trackball right now, and you're going to see that the movement and everything is pretty fluid in this game as a whole. It's pretty relatively fluid as a whole. See, I can move around everything just fine. All right, so you can see I can move around this game. I can move around the game screen and everything pretty well just using the controls here that I have. All right. So you can see that the movement is pretty smooth. I can move around pretty well with this. It works out pretty good. All right, now let me exit out of this. Okay. All right. What I want to show you next is I do want to show you how you access the actual menu system on this game as well. So let me go and take the camera off the tripod so I can show you the actual buttons that I use for the actual testing and everything too as well. Now on my Bartop arcade machine, let me turn the light on so you can see these buttons a little bit easier when I do this part. Okay, what I actually have on my Bartop on this is I actually have a test button right here. You're going to notice that on the board itself, there's a test button you can press in on the board itself, but I want to have access. So I actually have a test button here as well that I actually can access here. By pushing this button in here, when I turn on the arcade machine, you're going to see it doesn't do anything here. But when I turn on the game board, I'm going to show you what happens when I power it back up, what I can do that makes it pretty nice. Now, normally when you power this up, I'm going to show you what the intro screen and everything looks like as well, so you can see what that looks like as well. Okay, I just turned on the power. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this red button down, and this is actually the test switch. Okay, the screen's going to come up, as it usually would. But now I'm actually going to hold down the test switch. And what this is going to do, by holding down the test switch, this is going to allow me to get into the test mode for the game. Now, you're going to see the test screens come up. You have to hold that button down. I hold it just down for a second till the screen comes up. Okay, and that's one of the reasons I have the red button installed here. On the inside of the game board, there's a button you can press, but I didn't want to have to lift the control panel off to access the service switch. So what I did is I actually installed the service button here, so I don't have to lift the control panel off. And then this is going to be the actual screen that comes up. Now, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that are actually going to tell you how to set all these. You know, how to do, you know, you can do things such as coin settings on here. You can flip, you can access all the game settings here. Your service, you can flip the screen. You can test out the control. But this basically is how that actually works. And what you do is you navigate it using the joystick and then using the buttons. Now, One thing about my cabinet I'm going to point out too is that the way I designed my cabinet, I actually have 6 buttons. I have a one-player start button. I have a credit button, which is the yellow button. Then the red button is for the service, for the test, so I can get into test mode. I have one button I have fire one button for player one, fire two button for player one, and then fire three button for player one. And that was all the buttons that I actually had on my game. Actually had that I find works pretty good with the game off as a whole. But this actually shows you what the screen and everything looks like when you're in the test mode. So when you're done, you just say exit. And what it'll do is it'll actually boot it back into the main menu. Then you actually go into the game system. And then there's also a way to save this as well. Now you're gonna see the screen's gonna come back, and now I'm actually back in game mode, which is really, really nice. So that gives you an idea of what the Heritage Bartop arcade machine looks like and how it works.